G'day team, welcome back to another video on circles and their functions and their graphs. And today we're going to be looking at the circle equation in expanded form. Now we have looked at a circle in center radius form, so this should be pretty familiar to you. So consider a circle with center -2 and 4 and a radius of 7. We know that that equation goes to x plus 2 squared plus y take 4 all squared equals 49. Now this is one way we can represent a circle. Another way is if we expand and simplify a little bit. So let's have a look at expanding. Now these two terms here, they're perfect squares. And hopefully you remember, I'll do it in pink, a perfect square expansion, so a plus b squared, that equals a squared plus 2 lots of ab plus b squared. All right, so we're going to apply that to both of these individually. If I'm looking at this first one, I've got x squared plus 2 times x times 2 is 4x plus 2 squared is 4, then plus y squared minus 4x times 2 is negative 8x plus 16 equals 49. Now we want everything on the left hand side and we want to write it in highest powers to lowest powers. So we want to write x squared first, then y squared, then we write the x term, and I've just realized I made a mistake. That 8x should be 8y. So be careful with that. So I've got 4x here, minus 8y, and then I've got 4 plus 16 is 20, but minus 49, I've got negative 29, which equals 0. So this here is the expanded form of my circle. So what we want to do is be able to use this, all right, as a general equation, be able to identify my circle. Now the trickiest part is going from expanded form back to center radius form, okay? Because that's the easiest way we can graph these circles. So what we want to do is we want to do something called completing the square. Now, if you have done quadratics before, you may have heard of this, but we're going to go through the process to streamline it to make it super simple for circles. So to complete the square on the x term, and we'll go through an example so this will make sense in a moment, we have to add the coefficient of x divided by 2 all squared to both sides. Okay, if we have to do one thing to one side of the equation, we must do it to the other side as well. And then likewise for the y term, we add the coefficient of y divided by 2 all squared to both sides as well. Okay, so this is some key stuff here that we have looked at before in quadratics, but we'll continue to practice here as well. So let's have a look at a bit of an example. So find the center and radius of the circle with equation x squared plus y squared plus 8x minus 6y plus 21 equals 0. So to start with, I'm going to group the x terms together, the y terms together, and take this number over to the other side. So I've got x squared plus 8x plus y squared minus 6y equals negative 21. And now I do that so I can separate the x's and the y's and get those individual brackets like we had before. So what we want to do, we want to complete the square on the x term. So I look at the coefficient of x, which is 8. So I'm going to write x squared plus 8x. Then I'm going to add that coefficient 8 divided by 2 all squared. And you'll see where I put the other part of it in a minute, but I'm going to do the same with y. So y squared minus 6y plus negative 6 over 2 all squared equals negative 21. But now, because I've added these two terms on this side, all right, so we're going to add 8 over 2 squared and negative 6 over 2 squared to this side as well. So plus 8 over 2 squared plus negative 6 over 2 squared. And that balances out my equation. I've done the same thing to both sides. Now in here, this is 4. So I'm going to replace that with a 4. And in here, this is negative 3. So I'm going to replace that with a negative 3. And from here, it's really easy to factorize. In my x's, I put 1x, and then because inside here is plus 4, I put positive 4, and I square it. Same thing with my y, but I've got -3, so I put -3 there, squared equals, and now I've got to simplify this side. So plus 16 plus 9, so x plus 4 squared plus y take 3 squared equals, now this is 25 minus 21 is 4. So that means my center is -4 and +3, and my radius is the square root of 4, which is 2. All right, so it makes our life nice and easy. When we've got an expanded form, we can find the radius, the center, and in turn we can graph them as well. So this key skill here of completing the square is really critical to get into the form we want. So hopefully you're all good to have a bit of a practice, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.